Welcome back to Investing and Trading Live. As always, my name is Josh Littlequist, and on the last segment, we were covering some different topics on some common mistakes that people make when making their financial decisions. And that could be any financial decision in their life, whether it's purchasing a home, purchasing stocks, investments, bonds, savings, stuff like that. There's common mistakes that people make, and a lot of it is the conditioning and things that we're told to do. But you got to think about who is saying that stuff and what is their motive. And we've been seeing a lot of people that we've been having come to these investing classes that we do here local at the academy that want to make better investing decisions, and they want to overcome or stop those mistakes or not even make them in the first place. And that's the great thing is when you're brand new in the markets, if you can learn how to do it from the bottom up and not make those mistakes, that could be as far as dollars in your pocket because of mistakes not made. So to come into one of these investing classes, we have these local here at the Academy in Bloomington. They're about 2 hours. To do that, you just text the word investing to the number 210 for 2 seats for an investing class. But also, when you come in, bring any questions that you have. That's what it's for. Bring questions you have on your 401k, your IRA, and especially those retirement accounts, because that's probably what you work all your life for, 30, 40, 50 years for. Bring those questions in, and we can address those in the class. Text the word investing to the number 210 right now for 2 seats. Make sure to subscribe to Investing and Trading Live on your podcast site, whether it's Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify. So if you miss part of the show, check that out, and we will make sure we get content at you. We do a show almost every single day for Investing and Trading Live. So on this last segment, Al, we have a lot to cover yet, and I know these shows go by so fast. We have too much fun in here. I think it's almost we should have a bar in here and just have a whole bunch of people partying in here because we have a good time.
Let's take a vote on that.
Let's
look at that. It's 2-0.
2-0. No, nobody doesn't want it. So let's talk about some of the belief system that us as humans have, because you have a belief system, and that starts everything. That actually impacts what actions you take in any decision in your life. So if you believe something, you will have an action, and you will do something because of that belief. Now, those actions will impact your results, whether they're good or bad. And those results will continue to impact that belief system. So it's a continuous cycle.
Right.
But here's the real issue, Al, is a lot of people have a belief system that not necessarily is flawed, but might need to be questioned. So I'm not telling everybody, hey, your belief system is wrong, is maybe it should be questioned a little bit. Because one of those things, especially in the financial markets, if you don't know if you're doing something right or wrong, and you're getting some sort of result, that's going to have you continue that, whether it's the wrong or the right belief system. So that with that cycle just continuing over and over and over, you've helped a lot of people help that belief system, because we're conditioned from a young age really to do a lot of the wrong things. So some of this stuff can be questioned. What are some of the things that you feel is important in somebody's trading or investing journey or their financial journey that they might want to think about questioning if that's correct or not?
Well, that's
tough question.
Now we're getting philosophical. Getting
tough
deep
question
here. Well, your behavior, the actions that you take are based on a repetition of things that you do.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes that you're repeating things that are not necessarily in your best interest. So number one, you have to know what is the right way to do something. And for a lot of people, when they look at their financial life, what kind of education do you have? What kind of knowledge do you have on what is right and what is wrong? Well, Wall Street may be actually trying to convince you that what you think is right is actually right for them, but not right for you.
Well, let me ask you this. So Wall Street, you get a lot of information from TV and stuff like that. So are you saying TV isn't telling us the truth?
Not always.
We need those fact checkers like we talked about in the second segment, don't we?
That's true. And oftentimes you believe something until maybe a year later, years later, whatever the time. Hey, at one point in time, people thought the world was flat. I'm pretty sure now we have agreed that it's not flat.
Some people still feel that.
There are some people that still might believe that. But sometimes until something is pointed out to you, or sometimes, and this is worse, sometimes you learn something is wrong because it impacts you negatively.
Yeah.
And before you let that happen, one of the great things about the education that we provide, maybe I'm a bit biased, but I think that the education that is going to get you to the point where you do things right is by following people that already know how to do it right.
Yeah.
You learn off of other people's experiences. That's the smart way of doing this. You can read books, you can listen to webinars, seminars, you can listen to Josh and me on the radio, but if you are actually active, no matter what you're doing, when you are active, when you're doing something and you have somebody there pointing out to you whether you're doing it right or wrong, that's how you learn. And that's what we do. That's part of the education that we provide is kind of doing holding your hand,
Yeah.
looking over your shoulder, watching what you're doing. So if you make mistakes, we want you to make them here while you're learning so we can show you why you made a mistake. And then conversely, if you're doing something right, we want to motivate you to continue doing that and show you why what you're doing is right is right. So you repeat the things that work, that are in your best interest. That then molds your behavior, and that's where you really have the opportunity to be successful.
Yeah, that belief system, since that is a vicious cycle, can continue on for sometimes generations for people too.
Yeah.
And we're kind of coming full circle now, Al, because we were talking about the I just forgot what I was going to say here, but we were talking about several things here today. But the belief system, if that's flawed,
Yeah.
you will always have the wrong results. And if it's a negative experience, you may not even want to do it again. Or if it was negative and it didn't work, then you're in a hole. Now, you mentioned something very, very important, and you talked about being able to be around other people that have been doing it for many, many years. And that's the mentoring that we have here at the Academy. And in your mind, we do there's a lot of clubs that meet here at the Academy, trader clubs, trader groups. And in your mind, you've heard a lot of comments from people that come to these clubs and the interaction with other
Yeah.
traders and investors. What some of the main comments that you hear after they come to one of our clubs?
Well, it's the value of the community. In fact, we have some students that come in that say, "What I'm looking for is a community, somewhere I can go where I can be around other people." And they say that you become most like the five people that you spend the most time with.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to trade and invest successfully, wouldn't it be to your advantage to spend your time with people that are doing it successfully? And that's not only our instructors and the people that work here, but other students that are here. We have people that come in every week. I mean, probably every day of the week, we have a number of students that are in here, either meeting with each other, taking a class, or just coming in to chat with us about what they might be doing.
Well, you become friends after a while.
Well, it's like a country
know?
club here. It really is. And what people find is that it's not just the instructors that are mentoring you and helping you, but it's other students.
Yeah,
People like to share what they are doing that has been successful for them.
Yeah, one in particular, I won't say a name. He's probably listening to the show right now, but I said, you know what, we should put you on the payroll. You hear so much. He's like, you know what, I just like being here because it gets me. For one, it gets him out of the house, but also he's like, I just like being around here because we're all have the same common goals. It's not just monetary. It's about a lifestyle that you're looking to live. It's how you choose to live,
Yep.
and it's not always monetary. It's freedom of time or freedom of destination where you want to be. So we got a lot of people that come to our investing classes that want to be mobile, and that's been a big thing lately. Is people want to have the freedom to live anywhere,
Mhm.
to be able to travel. But the markets, all you need is a internet connection and a phone and a few dollars. That's why we talked about in the second segment that you can get started with smaller amounts of capital because you have leverage in the market, which basically you get buying power from the brokerage accounts. So that's the key, and we cover all this stuff in these investing classes. I mean, we only have an hour-long show here. If we could do this, we could probably do this show for 4 or 5 hours every single day.
Without a doubt.
But we just don't have enough time to do it. And quite frankly, the radio stations want to get other sponsors out there too. So we're limited to what we can do. That being said, we have these investing classes here at the Academy, and these are about 2-hour classes. And these are classes where we've taught thousands, just like you, are many strategies, and these are designed to teach you to make smart investing decisions. So text the word investing to the number 210 right now for 2 seats for this investing class. I teach these Al teaches these as well. Bring your questions in, whether you have a 401k, whether you have an IRA, or say you just want to get started in the financial markets. That's what these classes are for. Text investing to the number 210 right now for 2 seats. Al, we've covered a lot today. We had an hour-long show here, and we got more to talk about. We will do that next week. But you always have some great advice for people, and your many years of wisdom always drop a little bit of word of wisdom. Let's hear today's OTA tip of the week.
Well, you know, Josh, a lot of people come in here looking at having us help them solve problems. And I think it's important to remember that successful people spend about 5% of their time on the problem and 95% of their time on the solution. So, you know, how about you? Your actions are responsible not only for what happened in the past, but also the present and the future. If you're not happy with what's happened in the past, you want the present and the future to be different, your actions have to be different. What you do today is going to determine your future. So maybe now is a good time to concentrate on the solution and not let concentrating on the problem control your actions.
I like that. Anybody that wants positive ways to do things, listen to anything primetime Deion Sanders does. He's really good at positive thinking. And really, all you have to do is don't focus on what can go wrong. Focus on what can go right, and do that today. Text investing to the number 210 for 2 seats. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Until next time, retire young, my friends.